Before you touch that pump again, pause, because what most drivers do in the 30 seconds before refueling quietly loads their tank with contamination, stresses pumps and injectors, and even raises fire risk. And here's the scary part. It's a pattern I see in well over 90% of cars. In this video, I'll break down 13 specific never do this moves that protect your engine, your wallet, and your safety. Let's dive in. Most fuel damage starts before the nozzle ever touches your tank. Number 13, never add more after the first click. One extra squeeze after the pump stops feels harmless, yet it creates some of the most frustrating fuel system repairs I see. You leave the station thinking you saved nothing at all, then weeks later a warning light shows up with a mystery smell of fuel. That first click is a design limit. The nozzle shuts off when the tank reaches the safe full point with room left for expansion. When you force more fuel in, liquid travels into spaces meant only for vapor. That fuel heads straight toward the charcoal canister and vent lines. The charcoal canister works like a sponge for vapor. Liquid fuel soaks that sponge and blocks normal breathing. Pressure behavior inside the tank starts to act strange. Sensors see readings that feel wrong to the computer. You notice the pump clicking off early at every fill, even when the tank sits low. Real symptoms follow. The check engine light appears with EVAP codes. You smell fuel near the rear of the car. Refueling turns into a battle with constant shutoffs. Some drivers feel a slight stumble after fill-ups when purge flow gets disturbed. Repairs add up fast. Canisters, vent valves, and sensors often come out as a group. Bills land in the hundreds and climb higher with diagnostics. Emissions testing fails until the system seals and flows again. Here's the simple habit that saves all of that. When the nozzle clicks the first time, you are full. Stop right there. Let the system keep its vapor space. Let the canister stay dry. Your car refuels clean, the engine runs steady, and the dashboard stays quiet for the long haul. That little squeeze was only the beginning of what the pump can quietly do to your engine. Number 12. Never grab a pump without matching the octane and ethanol first. Here is where many engines lose power long before a warning light appears. You walk up to the pump, grab the cheapest handle, and assume fuel is fuel. Then a few weeks later, the car starts knocking on hills, hesitating at stoplights, or cranking longer on cold mornings. This is the point where the wrong octane or the wrong ethanol blend starts costing you. Octane is the engine's safety margin under heat and pressure. When a turbocharged or high compression engine receives lower octane than it needs, the knock sensor steps in and pulls timing. You feel sluggish response, rough power delivery, and weak acceleration in hot weather or while towing. The engine is fighting to protect itself every time you press the pedal. Higher ethanol blends add another twist. E10 is fine for almost every modern car. E15 works only for specific model years. E85 belongs to flex fuel vehicles. Pouring a blend that your system is not built for can overwhelm the fuel trims, dry out older seals, and create lean mixtures that trigger misfires and oxygen sensor codes. You often see this when a car starts hunting at idle or smelling rich after a refuel. On the flip side, paying for premium in a car designed for 87 changes nothing. The extra money goes straight through the engine with no power or mileage benefit. Any smoothness you feel comes from the additive package, not from octane itself. Here's the simple rule. Match the label on the pump with the label on your fuel cap. Choose the octane the engine is designed for. Avoid higher ethanol blends unless your car is approved. This habit gives you cleaner combustion, stronger throttle response, and fewer mystery engine noises down the road. Sometimes the price sign tells a bigger story than the pump label. Number 11. Never chase the cheapest pump. That bargain price on the corner can cost your fuel system quietly over time. You save a few rupees today, then months later the car starts hesitating on takeoff, idling rough at stops, or stumbling on the highway. Trust me, this pattern shows up in the shop way more than people realize. Here's the thing. Gasoline is a chemical package, not just liquid and octane. Some stations run higher detergent fuel that keeps injectors and intake parts clean. Low-traffic discount stations often run the bare minimum. Fuel also sits longer in underground tanks where water, rust, and sediment slowly build up. When weak detergent fuel and contaminated storage mix, the damage stacks up. Injectors lose their clean spray pattern. Combustion turns uneven. The engine starts pulling timing to protect itself. You feel slower response, worse mileage, and that annoying flat spot when you step on the gas. Here's the smart habit. Favor busy stations with steady traffic. Look for brands known for higher detergent fuel. Pay attention to how the car feels after refueling. One tank rarely causes disaster. A long-term habit shapes how clean your engine stays for years. Clean fuel means smoother starts, stronger pulls, better mileage, and far fewer surprise fuel system bills ahead. Saving a few coins is one thing, yet the next mistake can cost thousands in seconds. Number 10. Never grab the wrong nozzle in a rush. You pull in tired, distracted, phone buzzing, and one quick squeeze can turn into a four-figure mistake. This happens when the wrong fluid enters your tank. The damage begins before you even leave the pump. It feels small in the moment and grows fast. Gas in a diesel strips away the lubrication the pump needs to live. Metal parts touch and shed fine debris that travels forward. Power fades, smoke rises, and the engine enters limp behavior. Diesel in a gas engine floods the mixture, fouls plugs, and soaks oil from the walls. The rings lose their seal quickly. DEF in the fuel tank brings a water-based solution into precision parts. Crystals form as it dries and block filters and injectors. Many drivers notice loss of power within minutes, then a stall that leaves the car silent beside the pump. Towing follows and the repair room fills with drained lines and ruined parts. If you catch the error before starting, a drain and flush often saves the system. Once the engine runs, the bill climbs into the thousands on many modern diesels. Slow down, read the label, match the cap, and keep your fuel system alive every single. Number 9. Never pour fuel cleaner with no plan for the next tank. Here's a quiet way drivers waste good chemistry and still expect miracles. You grab a bottle at the counter, pour it into whatever fuel sits in the tank, add a few gallons, and hope the engine feels brand new by the next red light. That habit sets the cleaner up for weak results from the start. Fuel system cleaners work through concentration and time. They mix with gasoline, travel through injectors, and slowly loosen varnish on tips and valves during normal driving. When the dose spreads through a nearly full tank with only a small top-up, the strength drops below the range the formula expects. You feel little change and assume the product failed. Driving pattern matters just as much. A cleaner needs steady heat and runtime to do its job. Short cold trips and a quick park routine keep the chemistry from reaching the surfaces that need help. This is how you end up buying bottle after bottle, with the same rough idle and flat throttle feel. The smart move is simple. Plan the treatment around a low tank and a full refill. Add the cleaner first, then fill the tank to mix it properly. Drive the treated fuel through a normal week of trips or a longer highway run. The engine reaches stable temperature, injectors spray treated fuel at full flow, and deposits loosen at a useful pace. Used this way, a cleaner supports smoother starts, steadier idle, and stronger response under load. It also stretches the time between professional injector services. A little timing turns a checkout impulse into a tool that actually earns its keep. Timing fixes chemistry, and the next problem starts with how fuel flows. Number 8. Never keep fueling from a slow or coughing pump. Here is a quiet danger most drivers brush off. You squeeze the handle and the pump crawls, sputters, or clicks off every few seconds. You wait it out and think nothing of it. That hesitation at the pump can follow your fuel straight into the system. A healthy dispenser sends fuel in a smooth, steady stream. When filters load up with rust and sediment inside the station, flow drops and pressure pulses. You feel it as vibration in the handle and hear it as repeated shutoffs. That behavior tells you the station hardware is struggling to push fuel cleanly and consistently. You see this turn into real problems later. Hard starts after a fill, rough idle at the next stoplight, a stumble when you pull into traffic. This is how fine particles and moisture sneak past stressed filters and begin working on injectors and pumps. This is also how you end up chasing misfire codes that feel random weeks after the fill. Many drivers twist the nozzle, change angles, and keep fighting the pump. That choice trades a few extra minutes for a much bigger risk. Walking to the next dispenser takes seconds. Replacing a clogged fuel filter or a noisy pump takes real money. Here's the simple move. If the flow feels weak, pulsing, or glitchy, cancel the fill and move on. A smooth pump usually reflects a better maintained system upstream. This habit keeps debris out of your fuel lines, protects your injectors, and saves you from the kind of slow damage that brings surprise shop visits later. Before we move on, hit subscribe so you don't miss the small car habits that quietly save you big money, extend engine life, and keep you out of "why is this happening now" situations on the road. Number 7. Fuel smell blindness before refueling. Here's a danger most drivers talk themselves past. You notice a strong gas smell near your car, then pull into a station and start pumping anyway. That smell stands as a live warning from your fuel system. Fuel gives off vapors fast, and those vapors travel toward heat and sparks. A small leak at an injector seal, a cracked hose, or a tired filler neck lets liquid fuel and fumes escape close to hot exhaust parts. When you add more fuel, pressure rises and the leak often grows. You see the clues every day. A sharp gasoline odor in the cabin after parking, a wet shine on the pavement under the rear of the car, mileage that drops without any change in driving. Many drivers treat these signs as background noise and keep moving. Refueling multiplies the risk. Fresh fuel sloshes around a weak seal. Vapors build under the car on warm days. Other vehicles start and stop nearby. One stray spark can turn a quiet seep into a real emergency. Most of these leaks stay simple when caught early. A clamp tightens, a hose gets replaced, a worn cap seal gets swapped. Cost stays small and the car returns to safe operation. Here's the rule. When your car smells like fuel in a strong or persistent way, pause the refill plan and get the source checked first. This habit protects your safety, your driveway, and your wallet from damage that grows fast once fuel starts to escape. The next habit wears down. Wears down parts you never see working. Number 6. Never run the tank down to fumes before filling. Here is the habit that quietly shortens the life of a very expensive part. When you drive on near empty again and again, your fuel pump works hotter, harder, and with less margin to recover. The car still moves, so the risk stays hidden. Your fuel pump lives inside the tank and stays cool by sitting in fuel. At healthy levels, it pushes a steady stream with stable temperature. When the level drops too low, more of the pump body sits in warm air. Heat builds fast in slow traffic in summer weather. Low fuel also stirs up whatever settles at the bottom of the tank over time. Fine rust, dirt, and old fuel residues start moving toward the strainer and filter. You feel this later as longer cranks, weak pulls on hills, and a faint whine from the rear of the car. Drivers often notice the first warning during turns or hard braking with very low fuel. The engine hesitates for a moment as the pickup draws air. This pressure dip feels small, yet repeated stress wears pump internals and speeds up failure. Cold weather adds another layer. More empty space in the tank means more moisture can condense on the walls. That water sinks into the fuel and creates hard starts on freezing mornings. When the pump finally gives up, the car stops where it sits. Towing, parts, and labor take hundreds and climb higher on many vehicles. The fix costs far more than the fuel you saved by delaying stops. Here's the simple rule that protects everything. Treat 1/4 tank as your refill point. Your pump stays cool, your filters stay cleaner, and your starts stay strong. It is one small habit that keeps the entire fuel system calm and reliable. What enters the tank matters just as much as how often you fill it. Number 5. Filler neck neglect before refueling. Here is a quiet mistake that sends dirt and water straight into your fuel system. You open the fuel door and see rust flakes, mud, or standing water. Then you drop the nozzle in and fill up anyway. The filler neck works like the front door to your tank. The cap or capless flap seals against a narrow surface that must stay clean and smooth. When rust eats at that edge or grit packs around it, the seal weakens and vapors escape. Water and debris gain an easy path inside. You feel the results months later. The pump clicks off early. Fuel smell shows up near the rear wheel. The check engine light appears with a small EVAP fault. In the shop, the cause often traces back to a rusted neck or a seal that never stood a chance. Contamination grows quietly from this spot. Tiny stones, dust, and leaf grit fall down the neck during fill-ups. Water sneaks in after rain or car washes. That mix settles in the tank and loads the fuel filter faster than expected. Injectors pay the price next. The fix stays simple when caught early. A quick wipe of the filler area, clearing drain holes, brushing loose rust, replacing a worn cap seal. These steps take minutes and protect the entire fuel system. Make this a habit. Look at the filler neck before you refuel. A clean entry point keeps fuel clean, vapor sealed, and surprise repairs far away. Clean entry means little when what follows comes from a dusty corner. Number 4. Never dump stale garage gas before refueling. Here is a silent wallet hit that shows up days later. You pour old fuel from a dusty can into your daily driver, then head to the station and fill up. That aged mix heads straight for your injectors. Gasoline changes with time. Oxygen, heat, and light thicken it and steal the light vapors that help cold starts. Ethanol blends pull in moisture from the air. The fuel darkens, smells sharp, and carries water and sticky residue. Modern injection systems run on tight clearances and exact spray patterns. Aged fuel gums up those tiny passages. Starts turn long and shaky. Idle grows rough. Throttle response fades under load. The engine control pulls timing when octane slips and knock rises. You see it first on cool mornings. Extra cranking, a stumble at the first light, a check light for a random misfire. Shops often drain the tank, change filters, and clean injectors to restore clean flow. Those steps add up fast. The thrifty move feels smart in the moment. The repair bill erases that savings later. Fresh fuel keeps pumps cool, injectors clean, and sensors calm. Use a simple rule. If fuel sat for many months without stabilizer, give it a safer job or proper disposal. Keep your daily driver on fresh, clear gas. Clean fuel keeps starts quick, power smooth, and long trips easy. The next habit trades attention for trouble in seconds. Number 3. The walk-away fill-up that turns a small habit into a big risk. You lock the nozzle, step away for a minute, and trust the click to handle the rest. That habit feels harmless right up until fuel starts running where it should never go. Auto shutoff works through a tiny sensing port at the tip of the nozzle. Rising fuel blocks that airflow and trips the valve. Most of the time, it does its job. Wear, cold weather, splashback, or debris in that tiny port can delay the shutoff by a few critical seconds. Those seconds matter. Fuel can spill down your paint, strip wax, stain clear coat, and pool on the ground. Vapors build fast around the car. One slip, one spark, or one hot surface nearby turns a routine stop into a serious scene. Drivers often notice too late. The sound changes, the hose pulses, the ground darkens near the rear tire. By the time you rush back, fuel has already spread across the concrete. Staying at the pump gives you instant control. You feel the handle change. You see fuel rise in the neck. You release the trigger before a spill grows. It takes one hand and a few calm seconds. Let the latch assist your grip instead of replacing it. Keep your eyes on the filler and your hand near the handle. That simple habit protects your paint, your lungs, your wallet, and everyone sharing the forecourt with you. Staying close matters, and so does what you hold while you wait. Number 2, phone in hand refueling. That adds static risk at the pump. You scroll one message while the tank fills and think nothing of it. That small habit adds risk in a place built around one of the most flammable liquids you ever handle. Phones themselves rarely start fires at pumps. The real danger comes from static and distraction. When you slide back into the seat to use your phone and step out again, your clothes and the seat fabric can build an invisible electrical charge. The moment you touch the nozzle or metal near the filler, that charge can jump as a spark. That spark happens at the exact spot where fuel vapors collect. This is how flash fires begin near filler necks. Many station safety reports trace these incidents to static discharge after drivers re-entered the car during fueling. Distraction adds another layer. Eyes on the screen mean less awareness of splashing fuel, strange sounds from the pump, or a slow overflow at the neck. Small changes go unnoticed when attention lives inside the phone. Cold and dry weather makes this worse. Static builds faster and lingers longer. Synthetic clothing and fleece seats raise it further. These conditions line up often during early mornings and winter fills. The safe habit stays simple. Keep your phone away while fuel flows. Stay outside the car. Keep one hand near the nozzle and your eyes on the filler. If you must re-enter the car, touch bare metal away from the filler before handling the nozzle again. This habit protects your paint, your lungs, and the people around you with almost no effort at all. Even perfect attention at the nozzle cannot fix what hides below ground. Number 1, filling up right after the tanker arrives. That tanker truck at the station feels like a good sign. Fresh fuel, right? Here's the ugly twist. This is often the dirtiest moment you can fill your tank. Underground tanks aren't spotless. Over time, water, rust flakes, and sludge settle at the bottom like mud in a pond. When that tanker dumps thousands of liters in fast, it doesn't pour gently. It blasts the bottom and kicks all that mess up into the fuel. If you fill while that storm is still swirling, your pump can pull a slug of water and grit straight into your car. Your fuel filter grabs what it can, then starts clogging fast. Flow drops. Injectors get dirty. The car stumbles, hesitates, throws misfire codes. I've seen it play out like this. Someone fills during a delivery. 2 days later, the car idles rough, mileage tanks, and the check engine light pops. Next stop is a shop, not a road trip. Water is the big killer here. It doesn't burn, it rusts, it corrodes pumps and injectors from the inside. On modern systems, that damage gets expensive fast. Here's the smart habit. If a tanker is hooked up and you've got another station nearby, just go there. No drama, no panic. Just skip the snow globe moment under the ground. Now, you know the hidden pump habits that slowly destroy engines. Which one surprised you the most, or have you ever learned one of these the hard way? Drop it in the comments and subscribe for more real-world car knowledge every week.